Hello and welcome back to Simon's Rants. I'm Simon, and today I'm going to be giving my on-second thought on Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Now, this is your spoiler warning. I'm going to be talking about this movie in its entirety, so if you haven't seen anything yet, you don't want anything spoiled, you should go watch the movie, come back, and then we'll talk about it then. So, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, in case you don't know, is the fifth installment in the Harry Potter franchise, and it's the first one directed by David Yates. It's also the first and only one written by Michael Goldenberg, and in case you don't know who that is, his other movie since then, and I mean only other movie since then, is Green Lantern. So that probably explains why this is the shortest movie in the Harry Potter franchise, even though it's the longest book. That's inexplicable. I have no idea why. Also, I do realize that Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is only 2 hours and 10 minutes, while this one is 2 hours and 18 minutes, but that's only half of the book, so yes, it's still the shortest adaptation. So it's got the returning cast of Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, and all of those people that we've accumulated along the way, and as I've already just said, David Yates is the director, and this is one of the biggest flaws with the movie, is David Yates, before this was essentially a nobody, and after this, all he's really done is Harry Potter because that's his only claim to fame in any way. In his career, he's directed 8 films, 6 of which are Harry Potter films, the other 2 being The Legend of Tarzan, and the one before that being The Tichborne Claimant. No idea what this is. No idea what that is. And even if you go to his upcoming projects, it's literally just more Harry Potter. That's all he's doing because he's not a good director. Nobody wants him to do anything else, and he keeps taking these movies because he can't do anything else. That's why you see all these other directors leaving after 1 or 2 movies, is because they're already famous directors or they're up-and-coming directors that they're doing one and then going, all right, I showed my style, moving on because I don't want to get trapped in this. David Yates had no worries about that because he didn't have a career to get trapped. He didn't have anything else going on, so he stuck with this franchise because that's all he could do. And his directing is absolutely horrendous, and it's the worst in this, which makes sense because it was his first movie other than the Tichborne Claimant, whatever that was called. That's a really big issue when all of a sudden you have this stop where everybody is extremely awkward. And if you go back and rewatch this one, this is the moment where all the kid actors, who aren't really even kids anymore, they're pretty much adults at this point, but all of their acting immediately sucks. Just across the board, especially Daniel Radcliffe, which I'll get into more of that reasons in a second, but everybody just stops acting entirely. Everybody's stiff as a board, everybody's extremely awkward, and I've heard different rumors about how they acted on set, and it explains why. Like, you weren't allowed to laugh. You weren't allowed to ruin a take by laughing or you would get fined.
Couldn't keep it together.
They get fined when they giggle or if they ruin a take.
So everybody's walking around like they've got a stick up their ass because they don't want to mess up a single take. It's a horrendous display of lack of ability at acting because I don't know exactly what was going on set, but the directing is so bad that nobody has any emotion at all. And unfortunately, that characterizes the rest of the Harry Potter movies going forward. I haven't seen either of the Fantastic Beasts movies, but as far as Harry Potter's 5 through 7.5 go, that's how the acting is in all of them. It's so awkward, it's so strained, there's no character chemistry between anybody at any point throughout the rest of the franchise except for 1 or 2 moments where Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, and Daniel Radcliffe break through because they have so much built up chemistry that you don't need an acting coach to get that out of you. It breaks through the script and through the horrible directing at some point. But in this one, especially when it comes to like Daniel Radcliffe and Cho Chang and moving forwards with Ginny Weasley, there is no romantic chemistry at all. It's just awkward and painful, and I absolutely hate how this movie feels. The first time I saw it, I felt like it was a dream. Like, it wasn't really me watching the movie. I thought that I was having a dream about watching the movie because I was so excited about watching the movie, and so I was dreaming up this this lucid dream feel of a movie that's so boring and so lame that it doesn't feel like anything's really happening. Like, even from the beginning, you've got that scene where Harry and Dudley get chased by a Dementor, and you've got a jump scare where a Dementor is supposed to grab him and hold him up, and it's got like that loud duh sound effect, and it's supposed to be scary, and literally no reaction was drawn out of me at all. I sat there like, is this really happening right now? And the whole movie is bland like that, except for one scene, which is the fight scene between Dumbledore and Voldemort is the only well done scene in this movie. But not only is it well done, it's actually really good. And it's confusing because up until this point in my movie watching life, I'd never seen a wizard duel in a movie that I remotely enjoyed. They were never good. Sometimes they had dramatic effect behind them, but like up until this point, it was stuff like in Lord of the Rings when Gandalf and Saruman are fighting, it's just like, hoo, hoo, hoo. It's turn-based, it's slow, it's boring, nothing happens, it's completely unimaginative, it's just people smacking each other, whether it's with their hands or with a wand. It's boring completely. At least in this one, it's still turn-based, but they're coming up with cool things, like, you know, you've got glass turning into sand, and all these cool little things that are imaginative. And unfortunately, that is partially ruined by the misunderstanding I think David Yates had while watching and doing research for this movie. He watched the fourth one where you have the brother wands bonding between Harry and Voldemort. And the only reason the wands connect like that and have that like gooey looking string attached between the two wands is because they're brother wands, which is a very specific thing that happened in the story. However, in this franchise, from this point moving on, that happens all the time in wizard fights. So you're telling me that Dumbledore and Voldemort also have brother wands? Apparently? That was so stupid, and it's such a lack of understanding. It goes right back to the same thing that happened with like the Expelliarmus charm and how that got affected and misused throughout the entire franchise. Of sometimes it knocks people over, sometimes it knocks the wand out of your hand. You never know what it's gonna do, and now everybody's wands are just bonding for no reason, and it happens in every movie from now on, and it's stupid. And if you remotely understand the franchise, you get frustrated by it. Now, I did promise I was going to further explain why Daniel Radcliffe sucks in this movie, because let's be honest, he does, and he sucks in the rest of the Harry Potter movies, and he's admitted in interviews it's because he didn't care. He would literally show up to set drunk from the night before or extremely hungover and give zero effort, and you can tell he has no desire, he has no emotion. And I mean, yeah, it's partially the horrible, awful, bad directing, but he is specifically the worst one. Daniel Radcliffe is the most successful, most talented actor of this group, and he's the worst one in these movies, and it explains why, because horrible directing and just at least alcohol-induced bad acting, maybe drug-induced, we don't really know the full extent of what was going on, but it was bad, and it's embarrassing to watch, and this movie gives you no reason to want to watch it, because nothing in this movie other than that fight scene is good, and I really wish that that fight scene was in a different movie, because it's the only 5 minutes worth watching in this movie at all. It really is. Also, it just really goes to show how much this director and whoever else was involved, whether it was the writer or producers, didn't understand or know the Harry Potter universe, that they also took the liberty of changing Harry Potter's appearance by giving him the shorter haircut, which in the books, literally you couldn't cut his hair. If you cut his hair, it would immediately grow back. And it never gave any idea or hint in the books that that changed at any point, that he stopped having shaggy hair. In fact, it further stated that he did and continued to have that same haircut. So why did they change that? I know it seems small, but it was important. It showed who that character was. It was like a defiance thing. And this, and by the way, in the books, was the peak of Harry Potter's annoying teen angst phase. And this was when he was most annoying and most rebellious. So why would he now get, you know, a short haircut like that? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't show how that character's supposed to be. Like, they didn't understand what they were doing at all, and it's really mind-boggling as to why and how this person got put in charge. Like, I guess they were just running out of directors Or maybe they didn't have any directors who wanted to commit to doing it for a long time, and they really just wanted a director to stay on for a long time, so they found the best director they could get that would stay on for more than 1 or 2 movies, and this is where we ended up with. It's not good. So yeah, I don't know that I explicitly hate any of the Harry Potters. I understand that all of them are imperfect, and I understand some of them are really enjoyable. I literally, the only reason I would ever watch this movie, which I think is about 3 times in my life I've watched this movie, is for that wizard duel between Dumbledore and Voldemort. That's the only reason I would ever want to watch this movie. And now, in the age that all these movie clips are on YouTube, I would just simply look up that clip. There is no other reason to watch this movie. You cut out everything interesting in this movie. It's just a bare skeleton of saying, all right, we've got the Dumbledore's army thing, and that's it. It's just, this was a movie to get from point A to point B. There was no interesting things happening. You sucked all the soul and character out of all of these actors and characters, and the story is just so... It's not only is it bad, it's boring. That's its worst offense, is that it's boring, and I just don't care about anything that happens in it. It already was one of my least favorite books of the series, and this adaptation did nothing to help it at all. So I think I could continue to complain about this for a long time, but I think I got my point across. The main thing about this movie is that it's just unenjoyable because of the horrible directing, the lack of a desire from anybody involved in this movie to make a good movie, except for maybe the visual effects guys or whatever. There was just so little desire to make anything worthwhile, and it really showed. So yeah, this is the worst Harry Potter in my opinion by far. Like, by far. And I apologize for the sirens in the background. It's just... world's going crazy. Speaking of which, yeah, we're essentially on lockdown where I'm at, and we probably will be on lockdown pretty much everywhere shortly. So I'm gonna be making more videos than usual because I can't go to work, so I might as well do this. I'm honestly probably sick. I don't know yet. I probably won't find out because for me it's not a concern, but you know, I think it's important that we take care of the people who are high risk. So make sure that doing what you can so we can get this over as quickly as possible. You know, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, wash your hands, obviously. Don't do anything stupid. I know it sounds simple, I know it sounds easy, but we're in this position for a reason. So everybody just take care of yourself, be smart, and yeah, we're all in this together. God, we really are loud, aren't we? Yeah, so I'm bored, you're bored. I'll make some extra videos because it helps both of us. So thanks for watching, guys. Love you. Subscribe if you haven't. Also like, share, comment. We'll keep this little community growing and going together. Thanks, guys. Bye.